Hi everyone, I'm Claudine Wong. So I've had the chance and the privilege to cover so many great stories over all the years here. Met really amazing people, and I always get viewers asking, so whatever happened to so-and-so? Where'd this person go? So this show is all about catching you up. We want to check in with all these folks and give you a second look at some of the people we've met through the years. So that being said, let's take you back to 2017. That's when I'd met a coach named Daniel through a program called Rock Steady Boxing, and he had just opened a gym and started a program in Albany called Rock Steady. Now, if you haven't heard of it, it's a super cool program that specifically targets people with Parkinson's. And we're going to be talking more about that, but first, let's take a look.
Inside this boxing gym, you will find determination, grit, and passion.
I'd say 80% haven't ever hit a bag.
But they come here ready to try. Every fighter in this class has Parkinson's, and while they came ready to hit back, they also admit they walked in a little skeptical.
Well, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 4 years ago. I hadn't experienced any exercise that had made a huge improvement. My condition had gotten much worse, actually, over the last few years.
Were you frustrated?
I was kind of frustrated and a little bit discouraged.
Discouraged, but open to trying something new.
My goal is to hold it to where it is as much as possible. I'm really glad that there is this class. I'm really glad it's here in Albany.
Lunge down to the yellow cone, keeping your eyes up.
But getting Rock Steady Boxing to Albany is a story in itself. Rock Steady is a Parkinson's-specific program that is getting attention because of the results participants see from both the boxing and the drill designed to help with small motor skills, balance, and coordination.
Their walk is better, they're not falling as much. If they do fall, they know how to fall right and get up because they've practiced that. Because realistically, this program's for when I'm not with you.
But up until recently, the closest Rock Steady locations for people along the 80 corridor in the East Bay were in Concord or San Francisco.
So I started hearing people would say, could PD Active help bring Rock Steady to Berkeley, Oakland?
Judith Lubman is a board member at PD Active, a nonprofit serving people with Parkinson's in the East Bay. She called Rock Steady's corporate headquarters in Indiana.
And I asked them, what kind of person would we look for? Someone who's a PT, who's a boxer? And they said, no, someone who's compassionate, someone who wants to work with people. No one's going to make money on running a Rock Steady boxing program.
Her search led her to Daniel Burkhardt. He's been involved in Rock Steady Boxing since 2015 when he saw a story about its benefits.
I looked up where's the closest Rock Steady, and it was San Francisco. So I reached out to Kim Woolley, the owner. She let me start volunteering for her.
He spent about a year there before going to a location in Concord, and now he's here at the gym owned by retired UFC fighter and Albany native Tyson Griffin. Griffin had the space to make it all work and the understanding that fighting is about more than just swinging.
Their entire nervous system is being challenged, from head to toe, from the smallest, finest tissues that wrap around, the skull, all the way down to the big, big muscles like the glutes and the legs. And
his late grandmother also suffered from Parkinson's.
seeing her deal with that definitely was something that I relate to with these fighters. It would have been cool to see her have something like Rock Steady Boxing when she was around.
I like the mindset of it. You're giving people hope and they can fight this disease.
What's awesome and amazing to see is just the growth and the change in the fighters.
And a group that had the means to bring them all together.
PD Active has given support, seed money. That's really what we do now, is if we have a program that we want to support, we will give them seed money to get started.
It may have taken them a bit to get here, but in the last 6 months, as the fighters keep coming back, the results from those once skeptical fighters are speaking for themselves.
My core strength was very, very weak before. So these exercises and this work has really dramatically improved my core strength. My cardio was not good because I was so sedentary before. This has gotten me moving long enough in one extended period of an hour and a half where it really improves my cardio stamina.
Just much more confident physically. When I come in and I'm feeling droopy after the exercises, I feel so good. I mean, even I'm sweating and tired, I just feel really good.
It is, they say, about getting back some of what Parkinson's takes and knowing that at the end of this day, you took a swing and you won a round.
Okay, so that was 2017 Daniel, who is now 2025 Coach Daniel. Certainly. Oh my gosh, so much has happened. And so when we did that story back then, it was just getting started. This was kind of your first venture, Albany was, right?
Well, I had started an affiliate in 2016, and then I split from two of my partners and just opened this March of 2017.
It was your solo, like, I'm going to go do this my way, Daniel's way. And we did that story, and I remember getting a lot of calls from viewers saying, well, are there more? I live over here, I live over here. Tell me what's happened. Give me the last 8 years.
Sure. So since then, it's like now I actually work with, because I do online, in-person, and personal training. So I'll have people on Facebook reach out to me and work with me online from New York, Arizona, different places now. So I do have a little more reach on that aspect. It took about 2 years. So 2020, I was online only 15 months. Came back, I remember telling one of my fighters in Danville and Albany location, and I told the guy, I said, just give it time, they'll come back. I had one fighter for a month, and then sure enough, now Danville can have up to 27 people in a class.
Wow.
So it took about 2 years. 2022 was when business started picking up. People with Parkinson's didn't feel comfortable being back in the gym a little bit longer than the average. Understandable. But it's been going well. I love it. I probably work with about 100 fighters on a regular basis. And then the personal training also is fun. Online's also fun too.
Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about, even back then, the difference you were seeing in folks, and you were saying that you have some people that you've worked with now for several years. Do you still, and explain to folks too, like, what differences that you see? Because Parkinson's it does affect movement, it affects, just so many different kind of motor skills. What kind of changes do you see when they're taking your class, and how often do they come?
Consistency is key. I always tell, I have to do an assessment with a new fighter when they first join, and I tell them at the assessment, give yourself 2 months to see improvements. So what improvements are they seeing? One is they're just getting conditioned. They're in better shape, their core strength's better, they have more stamina, so they're doing more. So my whole goal is, whatever you want to do outside of the gym, do more of it. If it's traveling, do more of it. If it's shopping, do more of it. Or golfing. I got a lot of people that want to just improve their golf game.
Hey, golfing's important, but I think that's the thing that people feel like they're going to lose. Whatever their favorite thing is, that diagnosis is a very hard thing to hear because it's progressive. And so if you can give them back some of what they're worried about losing,
correct,
it's a really big deal.
Yeah, and they see it. The whole goal is getting the heart rate up to build the dopamine. That's what Parkinson's is taking, the dopamine. And they see their improvements. I have people that weren't traveling going to New York. I have people that weren't playing tennis that are playing tennis again, or they're coming to me saying, hey, my golf game's gotten better. So I'm like, that's exactly what you wanted, perfect. Yeah. So, and I love to hear that. It's all about consistency. I always tell new fighters, start out 2 days a week, try to get to 3. And that could be a hybrid scenario, maybe 2 in person, 1 online. Even if they travel, I go, hey, you can still log in your hotel room, wherever you are, and get a workout in.
Yeah, I mean, and for people who, Rocksteady was started by someone who had Parkinson's in Indiana, and he was looking for something to help him, and I've seen stories on him, and he couldn't even, struggling to write his name, and then this really improved. Is there some part of it, though, where, I mean, you have to work with expectations, too. Parkinson's is Parkinson's, and there's unfortunately no cure at this point, right? And so do you have to manage how people are also expecting things to change for them?
That's a good question. That's never really been asked to me before. So they end up seeing their improvements, and that's what keeps them coming back.
Yeah.
Is they do see improvements. Now everyone starts out at different levels. So the assessment lets me know level 1 being least progressed, 4 being most progressed with Parkinson's. So they know where they're starting out. I go, this is a baseline. This is just where we're starting out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people start level 2, 3, and then they can go down to a 1. But I always tell them, whenever you want to get reassessed, reach out to me. But usually they don't because they see their improvements on their own.
All right, so when you see your 2017 self, 8 years ago, less facial hair,
Yep.
less experience,
Yeah.
what would you tell that guy?
This is good. So every day we do a get to know you question in class. So this is kind of along those lines. I always say I've been consistent, so I wouldn't tell myself that. I'd always just say enjoy it more. I take it very seriously with structure and just starting on time, ending on time. Like I was telling you before you got on here, was my breaks are 1:30 to 2 minutes. So like everything's dialed down to the second. And that's just been something I've learned to do over time. So just enjoy it more. You get so focused on the business end of it, they can take the fun away from it. But if you're just involved, I do focus fits every class. I would just say be easier on myself because I can be a little too hard on myself.
Was it hard? I mean, was there a point? Because certainly for a lot of businesses during COVID, they
Yeah.
stopped. You know, they
Yeah.
just couldn't figure out how to keep it going and make ends meet.
Yeah, so when that happened, I turned it into a game just to make it fun and deal with it. So I lost about 50% of my clients because a lot of people don't want to do online only. Yeah. That's what we did for 15 months. I did the best I could to control my overhead. My wife and I, at the time, were dating. We got out of our townhouses, moved into a house that saved us $1,000 each with overhead. So it kind of took a little bit of pressure off of us. And then from there, it was just, I remember driving down Market Street on Concord Boulevard, and I said, Lord, I love doing this. I just got to find a way to do it. And that was it. I was just like, I'm just going to go at it and see what happens and just give it my all. And it worked. But it was just like, you have to have grit with being a business owner.
Yeah.
Because there's always hard times.
What's the hardest part?
For me, it's losing fighters when they end up. I mean, keep in mind the average age is 70s. So I work with people from 40. I got a lady that's 97. That's been with me since she was 94, doing great. But it's losing it. But I had a mentor that worked with Parkinson's fighters for 30 years saying, I met with him for coffee and he said, be careful of getting too close to your fighters because my best friend had Parkinson's and then he died. So there's that aspect to it. That's the hardest part. Every time a fighter dies, just like a boxer, we do a 10-bell count and a moment of silence. So I honor them that way, and that's always a hard part for me.
Sounds really difficult.
It is, but it's important and it honors them. So, but it's hard, especially if that particular fighter and I have a really good rapport and I'm seeing them. You know, I'm seeing some of these people 3 to 4 days a week for years and years. Since, like I was telling you, one guy from 2017, still working with them. So it's like when they go on vacation, and if they take an extra week, I'm thinking about them. So I can't help but, because you can't help but care about people when you see them 4 days a week. So that's the hardest part, is the passing of a fighter.
Yeah. And you see them kind of at a point where they've gotten a diagnosis, and you meet them and build that, knowing that it'll change, and seeing their struggles. I mean, you were talking about when people were home for COVID, fall rates went up, and people had a very difficult time.
Yeah, the headquarters did a study. They said the fall rate went up 64% during COVID because the people weren't moving. And so that was very difficult. I work on falling a lot for that reason.
I remember that in the class. I mean, how to fall and what to do when you fall and how to prevent falls. So that's
exactly. Because I'd rather have someone get a scrape versus a broken bone. So I teach them how to fall in all directions, forward, back, side to side. And I keep it real simple. And it's, I would say, the last month I had 4 people come up to me and say, hey, I fell, didn't get hurt. Or my spouse fell that watches your class and did what you taught us and didn't get hurt. So it's like, it's working.
You know you're making an impact.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
I love it.
So what's the end game now? I mean, you have a couple locations now, a growing community. Where do you go from here?
Keep it going. I love what I do. I made a career out of this and I'm all in. This is the only job I do. It took me 2.5 years to do that. And I literally get to wake up every day doing something I love. So just being consistent, keep it going.
Has it changed you as a human, just this kind of work?
Yes. I had a mentor with martial arts that always said you need to live life with urgency. I saw my father do that with work. He is a business owner himself. In his 50s, he kicked it into another gear. So working with people with Parkinson's, I live my life with urgency. I don't take things a day. I don't go, I'm going to put that off tomorrow. I get things done. Because I see the fighters that I just did a get to know you the other day. What was the hardest decade of your life emotionally? Some people said 20, some people said 40, some said 70s. And one guy said, hey, when I retired, I was a business owner, successful, I get hit with cancer, then I get hit with Parkinson's. So everyone thinks they're going to get to their golden years and it's just going to be gravy. No, I see that. I work with people in their golden years every day. So live life with urgency, and that's really just something I've developed now.
I see your tattoo, the Never Stop Fighting Back. Is that?
Yeah. It's the rock steady. Yeah.
Rock steady.
Yep, it's hope, never stop fighting back. And that's what I love is I do an assessment. I had a guy come to my Danville location named Jim, and he goes, I feel so alone. I don't know anyone with Parkinson's. I said, come back next Thursday. You'll learn it. You'll have about 25 friends with Parkinson's. So the big thing is the community, the camaraderie. And he goes, I don't feel alone anymore. And that's what I love. You're not alone. There's other people dealing with the same disease you are.
Do you find that people in the gym setting, though, it's easier to, it's maybe, I mean, there are groups, there's support groups, there's something about accomplishing something and watching someone accomplish something next to you that, that is encouraging and maybe gratifying in a different way?
I say we're tribal people. We work harder in tribes. We work harder in group setting. And that's the key to it. I've got fighters that go, I work out 3 days a week in a gym. I come to your program 2 days a week, and they go, your workout's harder than my gym workouts 3 days a week, because they work harder in the group setting.
Has this program adapted? Has it changed? You know, I mean, it was started, if I can remember, 2006, right? So, you know, it's been, you know, 19 years, right? If I'm doing my math correctly,
right.
almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
Are you coaching differently? You said if you're faster. There's no
Yes.
rest that you're learning in this process, because every time you try something new, and if someone took your class in 2017 or watched the class in 2017 and they came back and watched it in 2025, would it be a different class?
Yeah, it's a higher tempo class. So
Because you found.
I just can keep redefining, getting better and better at it through the repetition. So my stretching routine, I stretch every part of your body within 15 minutes. And everything's dialed down to the second. My breaks are a minute 30 to 2 minutes at most. 1 to keep the heart rate up, but 2 to keep 25 people engaged and focused. Nobody wants to get called out by me because they're talking. So everyone has a respect for the class, and so that's the difference.
And in 10 years, if I check in with you again, what do you think the story will be?
Boy, I hope I'm doing the same thing. I've learned, I've grown, I've become a better coach, but I absolutely love what I'm doing, so I hope I'm still doing this.
The story continues.
Yes.
All right, Coach.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that there were some tough times in there, but you never stop fighting
Nope.
for the folks that you are fighting for.
Never stop.
All right. Thank you.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
was so good to see you and
Yeah,
catch
you
up.
too.
It was nice to check back in. All right.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching and for listening.